Bob with Miracle Mile Garage. I noticed quite a few comments about the clips getting broken on the Odyssey while removing the roof rail trim to do the leak repair. So I threw together a quick video to show you a couple of techniques for removing these clips and maybe give you the best shot at not breaking them. Hey, just a real quick vid. I'm going to take a scrap one of these Odyssey trim pieces and just show you what it looks like when you're trying to remove it from the vehicle. I'm going to put the clip in. Actually, you don't even have to slide them down. You can actually just come in here and you can take the clip. There it is right there. There's one that's semi-good. You can see it's got one of the teeth broke out of it. They go on and you can snap them on like this. That's on. And then the way this attaches to the vehicle is there's a stud sticking out of the roof, and I'm just using a screw to kind of simulate that, and it clamps on like that. So if you're trying to remove it from the vehicle, sometimes the better way to do it is you can take something to pry underneath. Of course, this would be where the windshield is, and I would use a soft plastic tool. I wouldn't use a screwdriver, but if you do, tape it up so you don't mar anything. And you can take that and rock it back and forth. And while you're rocking it back and forth and lifting on it, and with your hand on one end like this, and then taking the screwdriver and prying on the other, you can work it up like that, and it'll come off inside the trim. And that's one way to get it off. Of course, you usually, these clips, now that they're aged, you still usually end up breaking one of the little inner tabs off. Usually they'll stick back on and stay on okay. The other method is to take it and pull back on it, and you can see how it flexes when you do that. When you're pulling back, pull back and lift up, and a lot of times that will break it up. It'll get it up too. It usually doesn't break it. So this piece is still good. You can see it's still stuck in the trim. See, it didn't break it off. And then it'll go back on the stud. And that's essentially what you got sticking out of the roof on the vehicle, is a stud to hold it on. So either method works. The rocking it back and forth sometimes is a better way to do it. But also just grabbing it and yanking it back and flexing it until it pops up. And sometimes it leaves it on the vehicle like that. Of course, I'm taking one that's spent, but you can see it's still on the stud. And then you can take your fingers and rock it back and forth to get it off. Or when you go to reinstall it on the vehicle, you can just take it and snap it back down. Of course, I got the stud sticking up too far here. The stud's probably too deep. But usually what I end up doing is I usually end up rocking the thing off and then placing it back in and snapping it on. Of course, now that these vehicles are getting to be 15 years old, there's one that I got off and it didn't really do much to it. And these little wings, when they get broke off, I'm not really sure it hurts anything for those to be missing. This is the main part that's got to be good. Those two little inner clip things right there that fit inside the rail. And then you've got these two other little teeth that go over that stud. And you can see here's a broken one. You can see here's one that's missing some of the teeth. But that's still usable. That probably, of course, you see I completely broke this one out playing with it. That's what you don't want to happen. That part. So, but usually they come out like this, but now that they're getting older, you might want to consider having a spare set of these before you disassemble. And it's not a big deal if you break them and you have to wait. You can still seal the roof up and you can snap the trim on later. I actually prefer to let the sealer cure for a day or two before I put anything back on it, then give it the splash test and see if it's going to leak. But anyway, that's the trick to getting those things off. I think they're kind of designed as one-use clips, and if you get another use out of them, you know, that works out. I think I've had the rails off on mine twice, and I don't think I've ever had to replace any, other than I took a trip to the salvage yard, so I could show you guys this quick little video here. I didn't want to take the trim off of my van and risk disturbing the sealer that's on there once I snap the trim back on. But anyway, I noticed a few people were complaining about the clip problem, and it is frustrating, but these clips are, you know, they're kind of one-use deals. If you're careful with it, sometimes you can get a second or third use out of it. Anyway, just thought I'd share that.